The rivalry between Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton is probably stronger now than it has ever been. Following the controversial end to last season in the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix that saw Hamilton miss out on an 8th World Championship, fans have been looking forward to seeing how the 2022 season turns out. For the most part of the last decade, Hamilton has dominated Formula One racing, but Max finally managed to edge him out in an all-so-important final lap after the safety car had been called back in following Williams driver Nicolas Latifi's crash. Since the dramatic race, which Mercedes appealed against twice, both of which were rejected by the Formula One authorities, enthusiasts of the sport have been keenly observing to see how the rivalry between these two powerhouses in the sport plays out this season. Right after the race in Abu Dhabi, Hamilton went out of the public limelight, a move that made many fans start to think that he might just be considering retirement. However, he came back after his time off in February at the launch of the Mercedes W13, stating that while he was still processing the events of the race, he was back and ready to carry on racing, not allowing anything to negatively affect his Performance One legacy. He said, "If you think that what you saw at the end of last year was my best, wait until you see this year. I think a lot of people underestimate what it takes to be a world champion. There are so many moving parts. It's not just turning up and driving the car." Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff stated this about Hamilton's return: "I was never concerned that he was leaving. Within the team, we knew that he needed to take the time to reflect on things, and particularly to understand how he would come back in the best possible frame of mind. So there were, on our side, no worries about him not coming back." The 2022 season of Formula One has not disappointed, as it's brought its fair share of excitement, controversy, and surprises. As most people would expect, the rivalry between the Red Bull, Ferrari, and Mercedes teams have been quite intense this season. But even though Lewis Hamilton started the season on a high note, coming back refreshed and winning a podium finish in the first race of the season, he has since been beset with car woes, currently putting him at 5th place ahead of the Australian Grand Prix. He is 9 points behind his Red Bull rival Max Verstappen and 6 points behind fellow teammate George Russell. Notwithstanding these setbacks, many fans and experts expect to see Hamilton make a comeback, and it seems Red Bull expects it too. Red Bull boss Helmut Marko has expressed that Hamilton remains a threat and is still in contention for the 2022 World Championship title. Marko seems very certain that Hamilton will come back, stating that the battle for the championship will probably end up as a 3-way fight. He said, "Hamilton is only 9 points behind Verstappen. They are not writing off the World Championship at all. They will come back for sure. It will probably end in a 3-way fight." Red Bull team principal Christian Horner also seems to think the same, saying, "When Mercedes get their problems sorted, they're going to be in there, so that's potentially 6 drivers who are going to be in contention every weekend. For the fans, that's going to be fantastic." Max himself has not exactly had a dream start to the season, having been forced to retire at the Sakir Grand Prix with teammate Sergio Perez due to fuel pump issues. At the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, however, he managed to impress with a fantastic win in Jeddah, a race where Lewis Hamilton managed to end in 10th place with only 1 point. Needless to say, Hamilton's abysmal performance on the W13 is not the start to the season he'd have wanted. The problems faced by both the Red Bull and Mercedes teams have allowed Ferrari driver Charles Leclerc to take the championship lead through very consistent great driving, with a win in Bahrain and a 2nd place podium finish in Saudi Arabia. At the moment, Max is 20 points behind the Monecan. In Jeddah, Max finished half a second ahead of Leclerc, managing to gain 25 points against Leclerc's 19 points. He also trails behind Ferrari driver Carlos Sainz Jr. by 8 points, a gap he hopes to close in subsequent races. The Silver Arrow's problems this season stem from the W13, which was unveiled in the Silverstone circuit on February 18, 2022. The car has had issues with heavy porpoising, a situation that has been very upsetting for the team. The German manufacturer has itself admitted to how much the underwhelming performance of the car has affected them so far this season, and seeing as there are no planned major upgrades before the Australian Grand Prix in Melbourne, Lewis Hamilton will have to contend with a vehicle that is outperformed by Red Bull and Ferrari. This is to the frustration of the Mercedes drivers who are eager to start driving more competitively. George Russell complained about the situation, saying, "There are so many factors at play between the mechanical stiffness of the car and the stiffness of the floors, the design of the floors, and tire pressures. Engine mode as well. The faster you go, the worse it gets. So it makes it harder for qualifying because we turn the engines up maximum power, go quicker down the straights, which causes more downforce and causes more porpoising. So we almost have to preempt this issue. Also in the race, when you have the DRS closed, you have more downforce than you do with the DRS open, and that's another factor we need to consider." Toto Wolff also expressed his concerns, trying to be pragmatic and not pointing fingers. "I think it is important now not to just point the finger at individual areas of the car. We operate together as a team, and I think we have deficits overall that are bigger than an engine deficit. Are we among the top teams in any of these areas? No, I don't think so, but you have to remember that this engine has helped us win 8 championships in a row. Now we just all have to grab each other by the scruff of the neck and with all our strength, pull ourselves out of this mess." This problem is compounded when you take into further consideration the brain drain that has hit Mercedes since last year, as they have lost a few of their engineers to Red Bull, including Ben Hodgkinson, who is set to resume working with Red Bull Powertrains as technical director from May 24th, 2022. If the Silver Arrows hope to regain a hold on this season's championship, they will have to work fast to fix up the W13. Mercedes Chief Technical Officer James Allison has, however, hinted at a possible temporary solution pending when the team can implement permanent changes to the car. He has suggested that raising the car's suspension slightly could reduce the differences in air pressure between the upper and lower sides of the car. However, this fix will come at the cost of a reduced top speed. Allison has also stated that while the drivers blame the issues on porpoising, a more likely cause could be too much drag, caused by Mercedes' substantively bigger rear wings compared to cars by other teams. Notwithstanding this, Hamilton managed to finish the Bahrain Grand Prix on the podium, finishing the race third to the surprise of many. Some racers, like McLaren driver Lando Norris, seem to think that the issues facing the Mercedes team might be a good thing and might offer hope to a lot of drivers. He claims that this is reassuring to see a team other than Mercedes or Red Bull finally dominate. He believes that the challenges will push Hamilton to be even better and that we will see a different side of Lewis compared to the last decade. If Hamilton's performance in Sakir is anything to go by, he just might be right. All eyes remain on Mercedes and Hamilton to see just how much and how fast they can get over their current slump if they are to have any hope of winning the 2022 Formula One season. Like and share the video with your friends if you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe and ring that notification bell to confirm your subscription.